Welcome. It's Central Valley Business. I'm your host, Steve Walling. My guest this segment is Bob Gonzalez of Gonzalez Investigations. Bob, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, sir.
You know, before we started, you and I had an opportunity to talk a little bit. You have a very interesting background. So let's roll back the clock a bit and start with a younger Bob.
Okay.
Era of Vietnam.
I'm a 64 graduate of Sanger High School.
Yeah?
After high school, I enlisted in the Navy during the Vietnam War, 65 to 69. Graduated from Fresno State in 74. Was hired by the U.S. Treasury Department as a special agent with the Criminal Division of IRS in San Francisco in 1974.
Uh-huh.
And then transferred to Fresno in approximately 1978.
Doing an investigation for the Treasury Department.
Well, with the IRS Criminal Division, sir, and a lot of people don't understand or don't know what that position is. It's a federal law enforcement position.
Mm-hmm.
You're authorized to carry a weapon and make power of arrest, but I worked a lot with other agencies and task force concepts with Customs Service, FBI, DEA, ATF, the local authorities.
Some of your work was international, wasn't it, Bob?
Well, yes. I'm fluent in Spanish, and I taught at the Federal Law Enforcement Academy on many occasions, and I worked undercover across the country, plus in Bogota, Colombia, during the 90s, attempting to take down the drug cartels.
Mm-hmm.
And I've worked in Spain. Last year I was in Spain. A couple years ago I was in Santiago, Chile. That's all subsequent. A lot of it's subsequent to my retirement. I retired in January of 2002, right after 9/11.
Uh-huh.
They wanted me to be a sky marshal after 9/11, but I didn't want to sit on a plane for 14, 16 hours a day, so I retired and became a private investigator, which I love. I fell into what I love to do. That's the only thing I know.
All right, let's talk about private investigation and Gonzalez Investigation in particular.
Yes, sir.
When did you officially start your own business?
I started Gonzalez Investigations in October of 2002, sir.
And you're still running?
I'm still running it. I've been very fortunate. Many individuals out there have not been blessed the way I have. I got some great assignments, contract basis with the FBI, the Department of Justice, United States Department of Justice,
Mm-hmm.
the NSA, doing background investigations.
The investigative business is not an easy business to get along in, is it?
No, it is not, sir. First of all, people don't realize you don't have any power, any authority.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're just out there with your open hand asking for information.
Yeah.
Very competitive because many law enforcement officers, such as police officers, go into private investigative work.
You know, Bob, my memories of investigation is things like the James Garner TV show and some of these things. But your real world investigative work, a lot of it is just patience, isn't it?
That's it, sir. That's you have to be a patient kind of guy, and because things take a while to develop.
Right.
I'll be retained by an attorney to look into an investigation, and they want results in a week or two because they got court next week. Well, it doesn't work that way.
Right. Now, you say you'd be retained by an attorney. Who is your typical client, Bob?
Mainly attorneys. I've got a pool of attorneys from San Francisco, Sacramento, all the way to San Diego, sir.
Oh, so you cover a pretty substantial geographic area.
I've got a sub-office in San Diego, and I have associates that if I'm not able to take care of something, they will handle it for me.
Mm-hmm.
But primarily attorneys and major insurance companies that are nationwide insurance companies
Uh-huh.
that hire me for various services to find a Mercedes-Benz that has been lost, and I find it in Mexico City being driven by a local law enforcement officer that seized it off the girl's boyfriend that's bought it.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Okay. Now, I know active cases you can't talk about, but of the cases you can talk about, what was the most interesting thing that you've worked on?
Well, it's funny because when I transferred back to Fresno, the first prosecution that I worked on, my case was a college professor of Fresno State that taught me at Fresno State.
That's got to be interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I've worked a supervisor at one of the state penitentiaries here in California who
Really?
was committing tax fraud.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a supervisor and ended up getting prosecuted and lost his position and went to prison for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've been really fortunate, sir. I've done a another professor at Fresno State that was a doctorate in the marketing department.
Right.
And I've worked, like I said, in Florida during the 80s, working undercover in the money laundering area. I'm considered I guess that anti-money laundering is my specialty. I'm a
I was just
financial
going to ask you,
investigator.
what is that's your specialty?
Yes, sir. I've helped draft courses and taught them in countries such as Colombia, Mexico, Costa Rica, and financial investigations is my forte. Now, currently, I've been working on 4 murder cases simultaneously.
Oh, my.
Just got a hung jury in Madera County a couple of weeks ago with a great attorney that I work for, Mr. Harrelson.
Okay.
And we got a hung jury, so we're probably going to go back and try that again. A few years ago, we got a dismissal on a murder case in Madera County where the individual in the preliminary hearing stage,
Very good.
which
Yeah.
is very good,
Yeah.
to get a dismissal by the same attorney. He's a great attorney.
Great. How does somebody get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of Bob?
I've got a website, Gonzalez, spelled Gonzalez, investigations.com. My email address is bobinvestigates@aol.com.
Okay.
And I've got a phone number. Find me on the internet because I don't advertise. Word of mouth is more than I can handle already. You know?
That speaks highly for you, Bob.
I just got back last week. I was in Portland, Oregon, working on a big domestic, not domestic, but violence in the workplace investigation. I do a lot of varied work. I work for the Association of Agricultural Labor, and I do employee injuries. It's a nonprofit organization that educates the agricultural community, which is very big here in the Central Valley. You know,
Absolutely, yeah.
when a farm worker gets injured or a farmer has a need for an investigation, they call upon my services through this agency.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I enjoy it. My kids, they're adults now, and they're kind of mad at me because I'm retired after 27 years as a federal agent. I
Right.
retired, and I live alone, and all I do is work. I'm a workaholic, but my passion and my love of my grandkids, teaching them baseball. I wasn't a very good baseball player, by the way, which if anybody sees me out here, they're going to say, that's for sure. But I can teach it pretty
But you
well.
can teach it. Very good.
And then I'm into old cars. I've got a couple of 63, an Impala, and then I've got a 63 Bel Air station wagon.
Well, that 63 Impala was one of my favorites, man.
Well, I got
I'm
it in
old
my
enough
garage.
for it back in the day.
I couldn't afford it in those days. I just
Yeah.
looked at them. But
What kind of engine you got in it?
well, the Impala is still a work in progress. It's got a 350.
350, okay.
But my station wagon looks terrible, but it runs great. I got $20-some thousand in it, and to look at it, you'd laugh.
Oh, no.
A young lady that I know looked at it one day and says, "Bob, that's a piece of junk."
Oh, no.
But it's my love.
There you go, along with your business.
Yes, sir.
Bob, thank you so much for being on the show.
Pleasure.
I hope you come back. I'd like to hear more about
Well,
this.
anytime you just invite me, sir, and if I can be here, I'll be here.
You got it.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's it, folks. Great stuff. You need an investigator. Bob Gonzalez Investigation.